The new keyframing panel has been the most confusing thing since Filmora 14 was released. And if you are one of those few confused editors, just stay back and relax because I am going to make it the easiest thing you have ever done in Filmora 14. Well, before we get started, use the link in the description of this video to get 300 AI credits just by inviting 2 of your friends to Filmora. And if you have not purchased the license yet, you can get the 7-day free license or stand a chance to win the DJI Action 5 Pro. And more information about that right on the website. Just use the link down below. Well, back to the business of today. Right here, my dear friend, we are going to use this video right here with this man looking back, showing that he's giving his attention to something, alright, which is the very perfect moment for us to create a zoom, alright. So we are going to do that by adding a keyframe right here, and then after a few frames like so, alright, then we can increase the zoom from the transform tab right here so that our zoom goes straight when this man is looking back, giving it more attention, alright. And right now, my dear friends, for the sake of clarity, alright, before we get to Filmora 14's keyframing panel, let's start by the Filmora 13's keyframing panel, alright. So in Filmora 13 that I have right here, you are going to find the keyframing panel right here, and right here you are going to see these keyframes over here representing the first keyframe that we have added at first, alright, and then this last group of keyframes, all of these representing this last keyframe that we have here after the zoom, okay. And for us, my dears, to make this smooth, alright, we have to select these keyframes right here and then do either the ease in, whatever the curve graph that we are going to use. It may be the ease in or the continuous curve or just the curve, alright. And then after that, we do the same on the second group of keyframes, is out or the other, okay. So right here, I would like you to understand one thing, okay. We are selecting all of the keyframes right here, which means we are selecting the scale keyframes, the position keyframes, the rotation keyframes, alright, the X and Y of the position, the X and Y of the scale, and also of the rotation, alright. And we are affecting all of these keyframes at once with the curve, alright, with the ease in or with the ease out, whatsoever that we may opt to use, alright. And we are doing the same on the last batch of keyframes, alright. We are selecting all of them, which means our graph is accessing or is affecting all the X and Y of the position, all the X and Y of the scale, and the rotation as well, alright. And that is the very first difference that we are going to see when we go to Filmora 14. Alright, so let's jump right into Filmora 14. Right here, my dear friends, as you can see, we don't have the keyframing panel over here, and what you are going to do is to right select your video, and then down here you are going to see this option right here, which is show the keyframe panel. And after selecting it, you are going to see something like this. As you can see right here, we have the transform and all the keyframes are showing up right here, alright. So if you select this little option right here on the top corner, on the top right corner, alright, you are going to see another layer showing up here, which is the graph area, which is the area which is actually, let me say, the keyframing panel area, alright, because this is where you select these keyframes to ease them in and ease them out, alright. And now, my friends, this is where the secret is, alright. Now listen to me very carefully right now. When you select this keyframe right here and then ease it in with this graph that you are seeing here, and then the last keyframe you ease it out, alright, you are going to get this kind of a zoom, okay. And you don't like it, okay, because in Filmora 13 we got this kind of a zoom which everybody likes, right? I mean, it's cool, okay. This is what it has to be. Now let's find out what is the difference and why this is doing it this way, okay. Now, my dear friends, if you look carefully right here, you see that these keyframes are the scale keyframes, okay. These are the scale keyframes. So when you ease this in and ease this out here, you have just affected the scale. So you have just ease in and ease out the scale, alright? What about the position? What about the position X and Y? What about the rotation? So for you to do that, alright, let me give you this example right here. When you select the X keyframe over here, it's going to show up down here, alright, as you can see here, alright. When you select the Y, it shows up as well, alright. When you select the position here, alright, now you can see the position keyframes showing up down here, and as you can see down here, not even a graph is showing up here. That means you didn't ease in or ease out, okay? So for you to do that, we have to make sure that the position X is selected here, okay, and then it shows up down here, and then you ease it in and then ease out the last keyframe, alright. The same thing with the position Y. When you show up here, then you can ease it in and then you ease out the last keyframe, alright. If you have also rotated your video, then you have to affect this keyframe as well. But if you didn't use any rotation transformation, then it doesn't matter. You can as well leave it as it is, okay? And right now, after doing that, and there you go, my dear friends. If we put side by side the Filmora 14 and the Filmora 13, you find out that there is no difference. The difference is just the same. And right now, my dear friends, because you have watched this video to this very point, I'm going to give you another trick, which is the very important trick to use, important thing to do for you to make this smooth every time, alright? Now, when you select the scale here and then do the ease out, alright? When you go down here to the position X, on the very first keyframe again, you must make sure that you repeat the same ease in, alright? If you had put on the scale the continuous curve, you have to make sure that on the position X, also on the position Y, and all other keyframes, for as long as the first keyframe, alright, repeat the same continuous curve, and that is going to give it a unity, like the uniform when it does the smooth zoom, alright? And if you mess up around that, my dear friend, if you pull the ease in and on the other one you put the continuous curve and all that, you're going to make a weird thing and you won't like it, alright? So for those who didn't watch until this very point, the keyframes are still not going to be perfect. Well, my dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video to this very point. If you have gotten some value, go ahead and share the video, subscribe to help the channel, and then stay tuned for the next episodes. And here is the next video for you.
Bye.